want to bring in Florida Senator Marco Rubio to talk about this relationship going forward. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's breaking news right now. We're just reading it a moment ago from Lucas Tomlinson, reporting from the Pentagon. How do you see this relationship with this new administration standing up to Beijing and defending perhaps Taiwan ultimately?
Well, we have a commitment to defend Taiwan, and this is an administration and a president that, when he was running for president, talked about the importance of living up to our international commitments and our partners. And Taiwan has been our partner for a very long time, and a place that we have an understanding with in terms of having that core relationship. So I think it's important for us to continue to keep to that commitment, and that includes our presence off their coasts as in their territorial waters.
Senator, I can appreciate your multitasking and hanging up that phone to stick with that.
Did you see me do that?
Hi, that was very impressive. I wanted to know from your perspective, how much do you think this is China trying to provoke America to see what this new administration is willing to do on a range of things, including human rights abuses, but also especially on Taiwan?
Let me just say I can multitask in a lot of different ways, as people remember. I can know, but no, I think on the issue of Taiwan and on China, look, it's really important for the Chinese to know that we're serious about our commitment and that we have the ability to put assets there. But there's also advantages to doing it. Again, when you see a destroyer go into that area, you also see how the Chinese react to it, which gives us some indication of their military preparedness and how far they're willing to go or what they're willing to do. And I also think it's reassuring for Taiwan. It's a very unique situation that for a long time, sort of the U.S. official policy has been, two systems, one country. But after what's happened in Hong Kong, where they had made international commitments to their autonomy and have now sort of blatantly violated it, there's real questions. I think if you're in Taiwan right now, you're thinking what's happening in Hong Kong today is what's going to happen to us tomorrow. And so there's real concern about that.
Senator, just one more question on this. I want to ask you about impeachment starting next Tuesday in the Senate. I don't know if you saw this report. Commander Admiral Charles Richard worried about China and Russia begun to aggressively challenge international norms in ways not seen since the Cold War. What do you want the audience to understand about a more aggressive posture that is possible out of Moscow or Beijing?
Well, two very different reasons. In the case of China, they view the East as ascendant. In essence, they view themselves as a rising power. They view America as a declining power. I think they point to January 6th as an example of it. I think they point to the pandemic as an example of it. And their fundamental belief and argument is they're the country of the future, we're the country of the past, and it's an inevitable, passing of the torch type situation. So I think that's why they're challenging international norms that they believe they had no part in creating, and so it shouldn't be constrained by. In the case of Russia, it has more to do in many ways about domestic politics. Putin's standing at home is built on largely on his argument to the Russian people that I can make Russia great again, that I can make Russia relevant in the world again. And one of the ways he does that is by challenging the United States. Now, he can't deploy 50,000 troops halfway across the world, but he can do things to frustrate our policy initiatives in the Middle East, even in the Western Hemisphere. Time and again, Libya, Syria, Venezuela, these are places where the Russians get involved to frustrate U.S. foreign policy. And so it puts them on that sort of playing field of being a global power again, which he can do militarily. He can't do economically or diplomatically.
Senator, let's go back, return to home, and that is the fact that, we've got this COVID relief bill that is working its way through the process. We just talked to Karl Rove about that, but looming is this impeachment trial of President Trump. That starts on Tuesday, I believe. What do you expect to see in those first days, and how do you think this is going to go?
I think what happened January 6th was horrifying. It hurt our country. It can never happen again. I think the people who did it need to be arrested, charged, and put in jail, convicted. And at the same time, I think the country needs to move forward. We've got a lot of issues that we need to be working on. We should not spend what's going to be at least a week, 7-8 hours a day inside the Senate chamber, by the way, 100 people crammed in there, in the Senate chamber on an impeachment trial of a president who's no longer in office. And here's why that's relevant. Impeachment, the automatic penalty for impeachment is removal from office. Well, how can you remove a president that's not in office from office? The only reason we have impeachment is because you can't criminally charge a sitting president. And that's no longer the case. So I think that it's a big waste of time. We should have other priorities that we should be focused on. I really believe that. This is not about passing the buck on accountability. The president's a private citizen now. If he does something wrong, or like anybody like me or anybody else, he's accountable to the criminal justice system and civil courts. But he's not president anymore. But impeachment is reserved for sitting presidents. And to do that is really about vengeance. This is about I believe, is a psychological obsession with the president. They can't just let it go.